In the dense forests of northern Oregon, a family's worst nightmare began with a simple text message. Sarah Mitchell, a 23-year-old college student, had gone hiking alone on what should have been a routine afternoon adventure. Her phone's final transmission would become the center of one of the most perplexing missing person cases in recent memory. The timestamp showed 3:47 p.m. on October 15, 2019, and the message was unlike anything her family had ever received from her. The text wasn't words at all, but a voice recording that lasted exactly 4 minutes and 37 seconds. Sarah's voice, initially calm and curious, gradually transformed into something that investigators still struggle to explain. She described encountering something in the woods that defied logical explanation, her breathing becoming increasingly erratic as the recording progressed. The audio quality was crystal clear, ruling out any technical malfunction or interference that might explain the disturbing content that would soon captivate millions online. What makes this case particularly haunting is the methodical way Sarah documented her final hours. Her phone's data recovery revealed a series of recordings, photos, and notes spanning nearly 6 hours before her disappearance. Each piece of evidence painted a picture of someone who knew she was experiencing something extraordinary, yet remained determined to document every detail. The progression from casual hiking observations to genuine terror creates a timeline that forensic experts have analyzed frame by frame. The Mitchell family initially hesitated to release the recordings publicly, understanding the sensitive nature of their daughter's final moments. However, after 2 years of fruitless investigation and no concrete leads, they made the difficult decision to share Sarah's story with the world. Their hope was simple. Someone, somewhere, might recognize what Sarah encountered and provide the answers that law enforcement couldn't. The response was immediate and overwhelming, but it also raised more questions than it answered. Law enforcement officials from 3 different agencies have verified the authenticity of all recordings and digital evidence. The Oregon State Police, FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit, and local search and rescue teams have all contributed to what became a multi-jurisdictional investigation. Yet despite extensive searches, advanced forensic analysis, and hundreds of tips from the public, Sarah Mitchell remains missing. Her phone was found 3 days after her disappearance, undamaged and still containing battery life, positioned carefully on a fallen log exactly 2.3 miles from the trailhead where she began her hike. The Cascade Mountain Trail where Sarah vanished is well maintained and considered safe for solo hikers. Park rangers estimate that over 10,000 people use this particular trail system annually without incident. Sarah was an experienced hiker who had completed dozens of similar trails throughout the Pacific Northwest. Her hiking gear was appropriate for the weather conditions, and she had informed multiple family members of her planned route and expected return time. Every precaution had been taken, making her disappearance all the more mystifying to those who knew her. The first recording begins normally, with Sarah commenting on the beautiful fall foliage and perfect hiking weather. Her voice carries the enthusiasm of someone genuinely enjoying nature, pointing out interesting rock formations and wildlife she encounters along the way. She mentions passing 2 other hikers heading in the opposite direction around 1:30 p.m., describing them as a middle-aged couple with matching red backpacks. These individuals were later located and interviewed, confirming they had indeed encountered Sarah and that she appeared completely normal and in good spirits. Approximately 2 hours into her hike, Sarah's recordings begin to shift in tone. She starts mentioning an unusual silence in the forest, noting that bird songs and insect sounds have completely disappeared. This observation, while seemingly minor, would later become significant to investigators familiar with animal behavior patterns. Wildlife biologists consulted on the case confirmed that sudden silence in forest environments can indicate the presence of predators or other disturbances, though they couldn't specify what might have caused such a widespread effect in this instance. The photographic evidence from Sarah's phone reveals increasingly strange details as her hike progresses. Images captured between 2:15 and 2:45 p.m. show trees with unusual markings that don't match any known animal activity or human vandalism. The bark appears to have been stripped in precise geometric patterns that forestry experts have been unable to explain. These markings were not present when search teams combed the area days later, adding another layer of mystery to an already complex case. If you're fascinated by unexplained mysteries like this one, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because we're just getting started with Sarah's story. Her next recording, made at 3:15 p.m., would capture sounds that audio experts are still analyzing today. The technical analysis reveals frequencies and patterns that don't match any known natural phenomena, yet the recordings show no signs of digital manipulation or external interference. Something was happening in those woods that challenged everything investigators thought they understood about the natural world. At 3:15 p.m., Sarah's phone captured audio that would baffle experts from multiple scientific disciplines. The recording begins with her whispering urgently, explaining that she's hearing sounds unlike anything in her experience. The audio analysis reveals low-frequency vibrations that seem to emanate from multiple directions simultaneously, creating what acoustic specialists describe as an impossible soundscape. These frequencies fall partially below the range of normal human hearing, yet Sarah clearly reacts to them throughout the recording, suggesting she was experiencing the full auditory phenomenon. Dr. Marcus Webb, a forensic audio analyst with 20 years of experience, spent months examining these recordings. His initial report noted that the sound patterns don't match any known natural phenomena, from geological activity to animal vocalizations. The frequencies appear to pulse in mathematical sequences that suggest intentional creation rather than random natural occurrence. Most disturbing to Dr. Webb was the way these sounds seemed to respond to Sarah's movements and voice, creating what he described as an interactive audio environment that defies current scientific understanding. The recording captures Sarah attempting to locate the source of these sounds, her footsteps clearly audible as she moves through the forest. Her breathing becomes increasingly labored, not from physical exertion, but from what she describes as growing anxiety. She mentions feeling watched, and notes that the temperature seems to have dropped significantly, though weather records for that day show consistent conditions throughout the afternoon. Her phone's internal temperature sensors confirm a localized temperature drop of nearly 15 degrees during this specific time period. What makes this recording particularly unsettling is Sarah's growing realization that the sounds are following her. As she changes direction, the audio patterns shift accordingly, maintaining what she describes as a circle around her position. She attempts to record from different angles, and the resulting audio clearly shows the phenomenon adapting to her movements. Sound engineers have confirmed that this type of responsive audio behavior is impossible to fake without sophisticated equipment that Sarah simply didn't possess during her solo hike. The final minutes of this recording capture Sarah making a crucial decision that would define the remainder of her documented experience. Instead of returning to the main trail as any reasonable person might do, she chooses to investigate further. Her reasoning, clearly stated in the recording, was that she felt compelled to document something that might never be encountered again. This decision, while ultimately tragic, provided the detailed evidence that continues to puzzle investigators. Her methodical approach to documenting the impossible would soon reveal even more disturbing discoveries in the depths of the Oregon wilderness. Sarah's decision to investigate led her approximately half a mile off the established trail into an area that park officials describe as rarely visited by hikers. Her phone's GPS tracking shows she moved in an increasingly erratic pattern, not the straight-line progression typical of someone with a clear destination. The tracking data suggests she was following something or being led, as her path weaves between trees and around obstacles with purpose, rather than the random wandering of a lost hiker. The photographs taken during this period reveal the most compelling physical evidence of her entire ordeal. Images captured at 3:35 p.m. show ground disturbances that soil experts have been unable to explain. The earth appears to have been displaced in perfect circular patterns, with no tool marks or signs of conventional digging. Geologists who examined the photos noted that the soil displacement suggests forces acting from below ground, yet no seismic activity was recorded in the area. The patterns are too precise and uniform to be natural, yet too extensive to be human-made without heavy equipment. Sarah's narration during this phase becomes increasingly urgent as she describes finding what she calls structures among the trees. The photographs show arrangements of branches and stones that appear intentionally placed, forming geometric patterns that don't occur naturally. Wildlife biologists have confirmed these formations don't match any known animal behavior, while anthropologists note they don't correspond to any documented human cultural practices. The structures appear to be freshly made, yet search teams found no trace of them when they combed the area days later. The most disturbing discovery comes in a recording made at 3:52 p.m., where Sarah describes finding personal items that clearly don't belong to her. Her phone captures images of clothing fragments, camping equipment, and personal effects scattered in a small clearing. These items appear weathered and old, suggesting they had been in the forest for months or possibly years. When investigators later cataloged these items, they matched descriptions from several missing person cases dating back over a decade, all involving disappearances in the same general area. Sarah's voice in these recordings shows remarkable composure considering the circumstances. She methodically documents each discovery, providing detailed descriptions and multiple photographic angles of everything she encounters. Her scientific approach to documenting the impossible creates an invaluable record, yet also raises questions about her state of mind. Psychological experts who analyzed her speech patterns found no evidence of hallucination or mental distress that might explain her experiences as delusions. Whatever Sarah was encountering, she was experiencing it with complete mental clarity and documenting it with scientific precision. The last recording in Sarah's phone begins at 4:23 p.m. and runs for exactly 4 minutes and 37 seconds. Her voice, while still controlled, carries an undercurrent of fear that wasn't present in earlier recordings. She begins by explaining that she's found what appears to be a campsite, but one that shows signs of recent use despite being miles from any official camping area. The description she provides matches no known camping setup, with arrangements that seem designed for purposes other than typical outdoor recreation. Sarah's detailed narration describes finding multiple sleeping areas arranged in a perfect circle around a central fire pit that shows recent use. The ashes are still warm, she reports, yet there are no footprints or other signs of human presence in the surrounding area. Her phone's thermal imaging capability confirms elevated temperatures in the fire pit area, supporting her observations. Most puzzling is her description of personal belongings arranged around each sleeping area. Items that appear to belong to different people from different time periods, based on their style and condition. The recording captures Sarah's growing realization that she may not be alone in this remote location. She begins speaking in whispers, describing sounds of movement in the surrounding forest that don't match typical wildlife patterns. The audio analysis reveals human-like sounds of movement, including what appear to be footsteps and the rustling of clothing or equipment. Yet these sounds seem to come from multiple directions simultaneously, suggesting either multiple individuals or something else entirely creating the auditory phenomena. At approximately 3 minutes into the final recording, Sarah's demeanor changes completely. Her voice becomes urgent as she describes seeing figures moving between the trees, though her phone's camera captures no visual evidence of what she's describing. This discrepancy between her audio testimony and the visual record has become a focal point of the investigation. Experts in human perception have suggested various explanations, from optical illusions created by forest lighting to more exotic possibilities that challenge conventional understanding of reality. The recording ends abruptly with Sarah stating that she needs to go with them now, and that she's leaving her phone behind so others can find the truth. Her final words, delivered with surprising calm, express hope that her documentation will help solve not just her own disappearance, but the mystery of what's happening in these woods. The phone was found exactly where she said she would leave it, positioned carefully on a fallen log and protected from the elements by her jacket. The careful placement suggests she had time to prepare, contradicting any theory of sudden abduction or panic-induced flight. The massive search operation that followed Sarah's disappearance involved over 200 personnel from multiple agencies and lasted 3 weeks. Search teams covered a 50-square-mile area using ground crews, helicopter surveillance, thermal imaging, and cadaver dogs. Despite the extensive effort and advanced technology, no trace of Sarah was found beyond her carefully positioned phone. The search area included every location she had documented, yet none of the physical evidence she photographed remained when investigators arrived. The absence of the documented evidence has become one of the most perplexing aspects of the case. The tree markings, ground disturbances, arranged structures, and scattered personal items that Sarah meticulously photographed had completely vanished. Environmental experts confirm that natural processes couldn't account for such thorough removal in just 3 days. The implications are disturbing. Either someone or something systematically removed all evidence, or Sarah's experience involved phenomena beyond current scientific understanding. Digital forensics experts have subjected Sarah's phone and its contents to the most advanced analysis available. Every recording, photograph, and data file has been examined for signs of manipulation, editing, or external interference. The results consistently confirm the authenticity of all evidence. The phone's internal sensors, GPS tracking, and metadata all support the timeline and locations Sarah documented. There is no technical explanation for how such convincing false evidence could have been created, especially given Sarah's limited technical expertise and the sophisticated equipment that would be required. The case has attracted attention from researchers in fields ranging from psychology to theoretical physics. Some propose conventional explanations involving elaborate hoaxes or psychological episodes, while others suggest the evidence points to phenomena not yet understood by mainstream science. The debate continues in academic circles, with Sarah's documentation providing unprecedented detail for analysis. Her methodical approach to recording her experience has created what many consider the most well-documented case of unexplained disappearance in modern times. 3 years after Sarah Mitchell vanished in the Oregon wilderness, her case remains officially open and actively investigated. The Mitchell family continues to hope for answers while supporting research into similar disappearances. Sarah's final hours, recorded on her phone, stand as testament to her courage and scientific curiosity in the face of the impossible. What happened in those woods may never be fully understood, but Sarah's documentation ensures that her experience will continue to challenge our understanding of reality and push the boundaries of what we consider possible in our world.